Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service Pacific Region's Facebook Live. Today is August 16th, 2016, and we are at Cooper Mountain Wildlife Area in Beaverton, Oregon. And we're out, and it's a clear, sunny day. We've got wonderful nature around us, and if it's coming through the microphone, we can hear some birds in the background. And with us we have wildlife biologist Roberta Swift to explain to us a little bit about the birds that we're seeing today. Good morning, Roberta.
Good morning, Rylan.
All right, so we're hearing birds to our left and we're hearing birds to our right. What kind of birds are you seeing and hearing today?
You know, I don't know if you can hear it in the shrubs over here, but I'm hearing a bewick's wren. He's doing a little chipping. And then just over our heads, we just heard an Anna's hummingbird. And on the way down here, we were hearing a western wood pewee in the distance. To me, they're the sound of summer. As soon as the western wood pewee show up, you know it's summertime. It's getting hot, it's getting dry. And we also heard some spotted towhees on the way down. So it's morning, but it's not that early considering it's going to be a warm day today. So birds they're still active, but they might be starting to settle down a little bit.
So if people are thinking about coming out to someplace to bird, what kinds of recommendations would you have for them as far as what to bring, what time of day to come?
Well, if you're going to see things like songbirds, you want to get here as early as you can in the morning. There's something called the dawn chorus, and if you get here just before dawn or just after dawn when it's just starting to warm up and lighten up, you'll hear the most birds. You also want to be really quiet, kind of stealthy, and not make a lot of fast movements. You'll see the most birds then. Maybe not talk very much. You know, it's fun to go with friends, but if you want to keep it a birding trip, you just want to keep your voices down low.
That's awesome. So we're kind of in the middle of summer, and it's today in particular is a particularly important day for the birds that we're seeing, and the fact that we can see so many birds. So today we're celebrating the centennial of the Migratory Bird Treaty, which 100 years ago really laid a cornerstone for the abundance of birds that we're seeing today. Can you kind of talk about what that treaty is about and how it's used so effectively to conserve birds and, you know, to just maintain the abundance that we see today?
Well, in the 1800s and the early 1900s, you know, we don't see a lot of this today because we have a lot better environmental legislation, but there was a lot of wanton killing of both game birds and migratory birds. There weren't a lot of regulations, so people were killing birds for food, sport, and feathers. And if you remember, well, you can see some of this stuff on the internet. People used to make these extravagant hats with bird feathers and sometimes whole birds on them. So in the late 1800s, the Audubon Society was born, and then they applied pressure, and eventually in 1916, the first treaty with Canada was established between the U.S. and Canada to protect our birds that we have in common. So the Migratory Bird Treaty Act as we know it was actually in 1918, but it helped stop this. It was a really valuable piece of legislation for conservation of migratory birds, and we continue to use it today to try to reduce the effects that people have and their activities on migratory birds.
We've got a couple of questions here. What kind of equipment do I need to go birding?
Well, you really just need, you know, your own 2 feet, and a pair of binoculars is good, but I almost forgot actually I did forget my binoculars this morning. Anna saved me and brought me some, but you don't even need binoculars. You can bird with your ears really well. I mean, sometimes birds are at the top of a tree or behind a leaf or kind of far away. You can still hear those birds even though you can't see them. So if you're keeping a list, you can tick those birds off, like I heard a western wood pewee, I heard Anna's hummingbird. You don't actually have to see them.
I'm going to take a little view of what you guys are seeing here.
Yeah, it's beautiful out here. We're actually standing on the edge of a restoration area that we just walked past a sign up there, and they're going to burn this in the fall. So in a lot of places they have to burn fields and conservation areas in order to keep the weeds down and to keep it a prairie. And this is a really nice example of a native Oregon white oak prairie. And there are certain types of birds that like it. I was hoping we'd hear a white-breasted nuthatch, but I haven't heard one yet. They really like the Oregon white oaks.
We have someone commenting, buy federal duck stamps.
Yes, federal duck stamps actually help protect land and wetland habitat and other habitats, and it's not just for ducks, it's for all birds. So
Awesome, awesome. Well, is it easy for people, especially in urban areas and in cities, to come out and enjoy wildlife near them?
yeah, I mean, that's one thing that we always tell people. I work for the Office of Migratory Birds in Portland, Oregon, and people often ask us about migratory birds. And one of the things we say is that you can see birds everywhere. Birds are everywhere. The only place you can't see them is really the bottom of the ocean, which actually isn't true because you can see seabirds down there. And, you know, on the moon, there aren't any birds. But everywhere on Earth, there are birds. So you can walk out your front door and hear a bird in the tree in your front yard. And I've seen some of the coolest birds in my front yard. So you can really bird anywhere. It's really very easy. And a place like this is pretty near to Portland, and it's a good place to come out, you know, on a weekday or if you don't want to drive very far. It's really beautiful. There's several miles of trails here, and it's a really good example of a beautiful conservation area.
Any hashtags people should use when they're out birding to let us know that they've gone on a bird walk?
Well, we have a good one. Correct me if I say this wrong, Rylan. This is more your realm than mine, but hashtag iBirdBecause is a really good one.
Indeed.
And then there's a more specific one related to the Centennial, isn't there, Rylan?
Mm-hmm. So we've got a year-long campaign called iBirdBecause, and that is tied in with an effort that we're doing on social media, and those are 100 bird walks. And because we're celebrating 100 years of bird conservation, we thought, let's introduce people to the wonderful world of birding and getting a chance for people to explore basically, you know, their backyards and their states. So what we've done is, with the wonderful help of biologists like Roberta and other field biologists throughout our region, which is a huge amount of space covering, you know, the Pacific Northwest and Hawaii and the outerlying Pacific Islands. So there's so much diversity there. So we've cobbled together a list of 100 bird walks. So 100 places to see just the variety of birds throughout our region, from, you know, high desert sagebrush steppe to your wetlands in the Willamette Valley, to your Puget Sound birds, to your upland tropical forest birds in Hawaii. So there's so much to see, and so we've got that 100 Bird Walks campaign that you can find on our Facebook page. If you type in 100 Bird Walks into the Facebook search bar, you can find a lot of our content there. But as Roberta was saying, we've also got a Bird Year campaign, which is basically pulling together all the success stories and all the stories throughout the country and our nation regarding the Centennial and the celebrations that we've got going on this week specifically. So throughout the year and this week kind of in particular, it's, you know, birds are the highlight and the focus of what we're doing. And so I'd encourage you to check it out. It's really exciting stuff.
Well, thank you both.